Hello, everyone. Welcome to Carleton Residence. My name is Anna, and I am a Residence Admissions Officer. And I'm here with my colleagues who will be at the back end of this, responding to your questions in the Q&A. So, I guess without further ado, we have a big group today, so please, be patient with your questions, but we're going to get going. So let me start sharing my screen for the presentation. And we begin. All right, so we're gonna focus today on the process of selecting your room in residence. First of all, congratulations on the admission to Carleton and getting your guaranteed residence. So we will go over a little bit of application process, but also about the process how to select your or find your roommate, how to change perhaps your roommate, but mostly we're going to be focusing on the selection of the space in residence. So most of you have already accepted your guaranteed residence. Some of you may still be thinking, so hopefully this will provide you with important information to help with your decision. The time today, we're going to spend about an hour together. We're going to look at the important details and the portal, and then we will spend the remaining time answering your questions that perhaps you have not been able to ask somewhere else yet. Um, Please feel free to ask your questions in the chat. However, I will be talking a lot about the process, so maybe wait a little bit to see if your question get answered through the presentation. All right. So what you are accepting right now with your guaranteed residence is the offer to a double traditional room. So there will be two students in the room. The deadline to accept your offer is June 8th. So if you have done it already, you're good, you are set. If you're still thinking about accepting, please take a note that it does take some time for your admission decision, the acceptance of your admission decision, to make it all the way into our residence database. So do not wait until the last minute to accept your offer of admission, because it takes another 24 to 48 hours for that information to make it into our database. So if you're thinking of accepting guaranteed residence offer, please try to do it a little bit earlier. Also, through the application, you will see that you have an opportunity to communicate with other students and potentially find a roommate. So it is important also to give yourself some time for this back and forth with potential roommates. While you are accepting, you're also potentially waiting for offers from other institutions, and maybe you will have to make the decision in the last minute. So just take a moment to look at the cancellation policy. If you do need to cancel your guaranteed residence, please do so on the housing portal. Just log in. There is a cancellation button. If you cancel by the end of June 8th, you will receive your full amount of $700 back. If you cancel in between June 9th and July 15th, it is 50% of that amount, and there is no refund if cancellation is received after July 15th. So just make sure that you remember to check the cancellation policy. Another little detail here is that when you cancel your offer of admission, if you decide not to come to Carleton and you cancel your admission, it does not automatically cancel your residence. So you still have to log in into Housing Portal and cancel your residence separately. A lot of students are asking about single rooms, so I'm gonna talk about this very quickly. So all our single rooms in residence are reserved for upper year students and graduate students, and very small amount of rooms reserved for students with special accommodation requests. So all majority of our first year cohort are staying in double rooms and traditional rooms or pod doubles, but in double rooms. Of course, you do have an opportunity to submit a special accommodation request. There are two forms that are available on our website, and you will see links on the portal as well that you would need to download and take to a medical professional to be filled out. And they have to be then uploaded to the portal, to the special accommodation page. You can go back and forth from the application as many times as you need. Everything is saved and stays, and you do not break it by leaving it in the middle of your submission and coming back. So if you started this process and you would like to accept your guaranteed offer, but you're also waiting for the document to be signed by your doctor, you can definitely still accept your residence and then upload the document a little bit later. Make sure that it's only these two documents that we have available, only those forms that are completed, signed, and uploaded. We do not accept any other additional documents such as EIPs or psychoeducational assessments. Do not upload those documents. They're not going to be reviewed. They're not going to be considered. So as the deadline to accept your guaranteed residence is June 8th, then right after this, then the following day, the committee will be reviewing the special accommodation requests. We always receive a lot more requests than we have single rooms available to accommodate students, so not everyone will be accommodated. On June 11th, we will advise students who have requested single rooms if this accommodation will be granted or not. If accommodation is granted, you will be assigned a single room. You unfortunately do not get to choose which building, what kind of style of the room you get. We will assign where availability exists. If your accommodation request is not granted, then you will receive a time ticket and you will proceed with the selection of the space and residence in a double room. But you obviously will have a choice of buildings, and I will show you how to do that. All right. So everyone, I guess, apart from people who may potentially get the special accommodation granted, will receive a time ticket for room selection. What time ticket is? It will be an email that will come into your Carleton email account. So make sure that that is active and you are able to log into it and see all the messages that are coming in there. And that email will contain information about your time to log into Housing Portal and start selecting your space. It is the start of the process. For example, your time ticket will say June 16th, 3:45 or 15:45. It will be in 24-hour format. This means that at this time exactly, when additional functionality on the portal will appear where you are able to start selecting the space. This is just the start of the time. It will remain active for you until June 30th, so you don't have to rush that very second. But of course, a lot of people will be joining in and selecting, so perhaps the sooner you are able to get to it, perhaps within the first day of receiving the ticket, the better. The tickets will be sent on June 12th. And as I said, they will go to your Carleton email account. So just make sure that it is activated and you are receiving messages into that account. Also, in general, university prefers that you use your Carleton email for communication. So make sure that you use that and always include your student ID number. If you are thinking of a roommate group, or if you have already created a roommate group, every student in the group individually will receive a time ticket. But if you have a group, whoever has the earliest time ticket will be able to select spaces for everyone in the group. And again, I will show you in a moment how to do that. This process of online selection will remain open until June 30th. So, while you do not have to rush the very second when your time ticket opens, perhaps you are in school or you have, a sports event or you're busy with something, it's fine. You can come back at any time. The portal is open 24/7. later and start looking at the availability and selecting the space. So as you know, you will be, or you have already, most of you have already answered the lifestyle questions. So that's a very good start. It's kind of important to give those little nuggets of information to other students. About Me is a free format text box where you can write a little bit about yourself and perhaps share what you think other students might be interested in knowing about you as a potential roommate. You definitely can look at your profile and see what other people said about themselves and look at the responses to the lifestyle questions. And you can exchange messages with other students. The messages will be only on the portal until you have decided to go into any other social media platform of your choice. But until then, it's all just through the messages on the portal. So all you know is just the first name of the student you are communicating with. And it's a little bit for the privacy because not every conversation will end up in a roommate group, of course. Roommate groups can be 2, 3, or 4 people. 4 people maximum. That's because most of our configurations are 2 plus 2, so 2 students in one room, 2 in another, and they share a washroom. So that's just for the convenience of this roommate group. We do allow multi-gender roommate groups. So if you are not sure if this is something that university allows, we do. It doesn't matter what the gender, but of course, if you would like to be in the room of the same gender, I will show you what it means in the selection process. For multi-gender roommate groups, we encourage those groups to look for rooms designated co-ed because they do not have a restriction for any specific gender, where in spaces that are designated dynamic gender, that means that whoever grabs the first bed in, say, 2 plus 2 configuration, the entire space will be immediately designated the gender of that first person. So if I am taking bed 1 in the room and the room shares a washroom with another room, so there are 4 of us, and I identify as a female, the entire configuration will be now designated as a female and will be available for selection by only female students down the road. So just so you know, if anyone is asking, can I be in just the same gender? That's in this case, as you will be selecting the spaces designated dynamic gender. All right, now the interesting part, we're going to the portal. So I'm going to stop sharing this and I'm going to move into the portal. All right. Okay, all right. So we are looking now at the portal, and most of you, of course, have already been here multiple times, perhaps, so you know how it looks like. And you probably have already experienced when you're trying to log in, all of a sudden it, kicks you out. This is on purpose. What it does, it ensures that anything that is done on the portal, and it's a very busy place, there are a lot of activity going on, a lot of students using it, that everything is saved, so it refreshes itself. If you started working on your application or you're communicating with a student, then you walked away for a couple of hours and came back, most likely it will push you to refresh. It is fine. You do not lose any information. It's completely fine to refresh or log out and log back in. This is fine. All right. So when you receive a time ticket, you will have additional functions on the portal, and I'm going to show you how it's going to look like. So when you log in, instead of taking you to the application status page, it's going to take you right away to the room selection page. And before we jump into this process, I'm going to quickly go back to the roommate groups. And for those of you who are still not quite sure what we're doing here with the roommate groups, how does it look like and what am I searching for? I'm going to show you what the options are. So there are different ways to search for the roommates. If you do not have anyone that you know and you would like to share space with, you can definitely use an option of suggested roommates. So if I click on this option, the system will create a list of other students who are who have responded to the lifestyle questions similar to the way I responded to them. So as you can see, it matched me with a bunch of people. And now I can start looking at different individual messages here and take a look at the profile to see if I'm interested in reaching out to any of the students and potentially looking at creating a roommate group with them. While it matches by the responses to the lifestyle questions, this list does not account for gender. It does not filter out gender. So if I identify as a female and I prefer to have a female roommate, I would try to look for someone who, I don't know if this person is a female or male or any other gender. So I will open the profile and I will see a little bit of the information here. So gender and pronouns will give me a hint what I'm looking at here. And if it's something interesting, I can definitely reach out to the student through the message, or I just move on and review another profile, and this is kind of how you do the research. If you know someone already that you would like to be roommates with, and if you know that they have already accepted their guaranteed residence offer, then you can look for them by the details. You can enter their name or last name or student ID number. I know, for example, a friend, they told me their student ID number. So I'm gonna search for them. Here my friend is. I'm gonna now add this friend to the group. So when you create roommate groups, of course, the group cannot be just one person. You need at least two people who have confirmed that they would like to be in the roommate group. Immediately you will receive a message here that the roommate group is confirmed. This is important. Sometimes you send out requests to other students and they do not accept those requests, or you did not accept somebody's request, those groups are not confirmed. So as long as you have a green line here, your group is good to go. So in this case, what you see is that myself as a group leader and my friend Amy, we have already created a roommate group. There are two of us. I also received a request from another student and I can either accept or decline. And I have just sent a request to another student and I will be waiting for the student to accept or decline my offer. And as you can see, there is an expiry date. So once this expiry date passes, this request kind of goes away and, and you can have multiple messages here back and forth with the students, is incoming and outgoing requests. All right, so now that I have my roommate group, actually what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna accept Shannon's and add Shannon to my group because I would like to show you how the roommate group with odd numbers will work when we actually go about the selection. So now I'm going to the room selection process. When you get to this page, what you will see is some instructions about what you're looking at. Do take time to read through them. It is important. something that will help you navigate the actual selection of the spaces. When you start looking, you can narrow down your choices. If you're looking for just double traditional, you can click on that. It will narrow down which buildings allow this space, or you can go by buildings. I want to be in Lanark only, so I select this house, and the system will show me available spaces in this building only. Or I can use attributes if I'm looking, for example, for specifically, I just want to be in a double room and communal washroom is fine with me. Then I can click on this attribute and it will show me spaces available based on this filter. So when you're looking at any of the spaces, what you see is the room number, the number of beds in the room. This is the price for the room, so not meal plan, that's separate, just for the room per session, so per term. And then what is going on with the gender in this room right now. Right now, because none of the spaces have been selected, some of them will be dynamic gender, some of them will be co-ed. So if your roommate group is consists of multiple genders, then you should go for co-ed. The system will allow you to select the spaces. If your group is all members in the group identify as one and the same gender, then you should be getting dynamic gender space. In my case, I think we're all the same gender, so I'm gonna try to see if this room will work for us. So I can click on the room just to see what's going on. Sometimes students already selected, so I will see their names. I'll show you in a second. So I want to go with Granville House, and here are options available to me. I have 3 people in my group, right? And I have the earliest time ticket. I'm here first. We decided we want Granville House. So here I am selecting spaces. Because I have 3 people, I need to ensure that I have 3 beds available to put my roommate group in. So there are 2 beds here. So I'm going to add this room to my cart. And these 2 rooms, 104 and 106, they share a washroom. So I'm going to add this one as well. And I click save and continue. And now, as you can see, system already predicted that, all 3 of us will be together. And now I just have to assign beds. So I know that I want to be in the same room with my friend, Amy. So I am assigning beds here. And then my other friend will go to the other room, and somebody else, another student, will be able to select that 4th bed. I click assign rooms, and here we are. It just confirms the information. We're going to Granville House. This is our room numbers and how much it's going to cost in the room fees. And I save and continue. At this point, I will proceed to the next phase of the application with the meal plan and residence agreement. My friends, Shannon and Amy, will receive an email that will say that roommate has assigned a space to them, and now they also must log into the housing portal and also sign the residence agreement and select a meal plan. Signing of the residence agreement and selecting meal plan is all individual. Even though you are a roommate group and somebody may have selected a space for you, or you have selected for everyone, it's still every single student must sign the residence agreement. If you are 18 or over 18, you will be signing the residence agreement yourself by reviewing the document, and I know my colleagues will have a link in the Q&A for you to look at the residence agreement in advance. It is available on our website, and you will sign the agreement by entering your student ID number. If you are under 18, there will be an additional option to enter somebody who will sign on your behalf, typically a parent. So you will enter their name and their email address, and that person will receive a notification that they need to sign the agreement, and they will go in and do that. So it's fairly straightforward, but it is important that you review the entire document because, it outlines your responsibilities and rights as well as our obligations and rights as a provider of residence to you. The next page will be meal selection. So you will grab the meal selection that is available to choose from based on your preference. And here we are. The very last page will show you the summary of the booking. So I am in room 104. I am with my friend here. My other friend is in another room, and somebody else, another student, may be able to pick up this room. So if you are at this stage and you're happy with this, you sort of done. Right now, you are good to go until you receive any other instruction for us. If you have done all this and now you're talking to your friends and they're like, Anna, but I thought we're gonna go to Lenox and Addington. And Anna is like, okay, right. So we do have a manage my booking option where you can go and look what is still available to select. So once I click on manage my booking, it gives me different options here. So I can go and see if I can change my room. When I click on this, it does not take me out of my space. My space is my space and it is already booked until I change it to something else. So it takes me though to a very similar space, just to a very similar page to take a look at what's available. And here I am, I'm going to Lenox and Eddington. And I am going to reassign us to something else. Because I'm still in the roommate group, I have to reassign everyone in my group. So I'm going to grab 2 rooms. And as we have already seen this before, very similar process. I go and assign all people in my group to the new space. And here we are. Okay. So now the summary confirms that we are now in a different building, in a different room. So this should be pretty straightforward. And if at some point I have decided that I no longer want to be with this group and I actually want to select something else for myself, this happens. And this is completely fine. You go back in this case to roommate groups. Because I have created this group, I can disband it, I can delete it. If you are not a leader, just one of the other students in the group, you can leave the group. So in my case, I'm going to delete the group. Oh, let's say the group outstanding. Oh, because I have outstanding request. Okay, I'm going to cancel the outstanding request here. And now I can delete the group. So by deleting the group, actually, nothing changes to the status. You will see that I am still in the same space with all the friends here. But if I want to change a room for myself only now, I can do so without having to reassign other people that were associated with me in the roommate group. So it gives you a bit of a flexibility. Sometimes you have a group of 4 and you're trying to find something else, but there is nothing available in 2+2. So in this case, we advise students to separate group into 2 smaller groups and then look for a room somewhere with 2 people and another room in another building. All right. Well, This is really it in terms of how to select a space. I'm sure you will have some questions for me. So I am going to kick it over to Brad and my other colleagues working through the Q&A to see if there are questions that you would like me to answer for everyone.
Thanks, Shannon. So there's been lots of questions coming in the chat as we've been going. So I'm just going to read some of the ones that have been asked a couple of different times. So our first question here, will there be a copy of the recording shared anywhere with them afterwards?
Yes, there will be. This session is being recorded, so we will put the session on. Actually, we'll email everyone a notification that the link is available probably next week.
Great, thank you, Anna. And if folks haven't asked their questions, feel free to put them in the Q&A as we go. Our next question here is regarding the residence agreement. If they're under 18, do they have to have someone sign on their behalf, or are they still able to just sign it themselves?
They do have to sign. So under 18, you will have to have someone to sign on your behalf. So what's going to happen is the system will recognize your age, but before proceeding to sign the residence agreement, it will ask you to enter the information of your proxy who will be signing on your behalf. Could be a guy, your guardian or a parent. You will enter the name and the email address of that person. That person will receive a notification that the residence agreement must be signed to confirm the booking. However, you can still proceed with the room selection and selecting your meal plan. We will notify students who have not signed the residence agreement or where the proxy did not sign the residence agreement in summer to ensure that everyone had a chance to review the document and to sign it.
Thank you. Our next question is, can you just re-explain the differences between dynamic gender versus co-ed?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to go back to change my room, I guess. Okay, so dynamic gender is when, for example, in this configuration here, room 119, 121, this are two double rooms, there is a washroom in between, and right now they are designated dynamic gender. What it means is whoever's going to be the first person to grab that space, the entire configuration will be now designated of that space. So as an example, I'm going to show you that room 118. So this is the room that one of my friends has, right? Shannon is in that room. So I can click on this room here. 118, Shannon is here. And because Shannon identifies as a female, the other room now is showing as a female. So only female students will be able to select this space. Does that make sense?
That's perfect. Thanks, Anna. Our next one here, if someone's in your roommate group, but they end up receiving a special accommodation ahead of time, what does that mean for everybody else in the roommate group?
So if that happens, then the person who received special accommodation should leave the group, or if they have created the group, to transfer the leadership of the group to someone else in the group and still leave the group, because you want other people to be able to select their spaces now based on their preferences. If you receive special accommodation, as I mentioned, you will be assigned a space where it exists within our limited availability. So you do not get a choice to be necessarily closer to the friends that you have created the roommate group with.
Okay, our next question here. How do you pay for your residence fees?
So when you accept your guaranteed residence, you have to pay the residence advance payment, the $700 residence advance payment. It is paid here on the portal with your credit card or debit card if it is issued by the Canadian bank. So you do it here. In July, we will put the actual charges for room and meal plan fees on your student account, and it will be in the same place where you pay your tuition. So it is, if you go through Carleton Central, you go into your financial pages and you will see what the charges are, and then you can pay through the ways that student accounts outline as acceptable. Typically, you pay through your bank, or I think there are other options available, but that's a good question for student accounts.
Okay, our next question here. Do I need to select the meal plans for my roommates in addition to selecting their rooms?
No, you do not have an option to select meal plans for your friends. You are selecting your own meal plan only. When you have assigned other people in your roommate group to the space, they will receive a notification saying that the space has been assigned to them by their roommate, and now they must log in into the housing portal and complete the final few steps, which are sign the residence agreement and select the meal plan, because both of these steps are individual. Your roommate who assigns you to a space cannot do that for you. Those are individual steps.
Okay, we have a question about the difference in the process for guaranteed first years versus non-guaranteed. So how do non-guaranteed students pay the residence advance payment? Any deadlines that they should be aware of that are different?
Mm-hmm. So the non-guaranteed students most likely will be receiving the time tickets at the same time as guaranteed students, kind of within the mix there. The difference, though, is that you will have to select a space, and once you have selected your space, the next page will be to pay your residence advance payment to confirm your selection. So it is a classification difference as admissions determines and passes that information to us. So there is a slightly different process right now. But the only difference is when you pay your $700. First year guaranteed's paid kind of upfront, and non-guaranteed's paid when they select a space on the portal with the time ticket. You will still receive the time ticket. You will still go through the same process as we have discussed today, but you will pay your $700 when you have after you have assigned yourself to a bed.
Thank you. Our next question, when do time tickets begin for room selection?
Excellent question. So time tickets will be sent as information to you on June 12th, and the room selection will start the following week. So sometimes the following week, so 16th, 17th, 18th, that would be the dates you should expect to see on your time tickets to start looking at the spaces available.
There's lots of questions coming in about the meal plans. So could you briefly explain the differences of meal plans? Are they mandatory for first years?
So meal plans are mandatory in all traditional buildings, and most of you will be selecting spaces in traditional buildings only. There are no kitchens. While you can bring some small appliance like a kettle or a coffee maker into your room, you still do not have a space there to cook. So meal plan is mandatory, and you cannot skip that page on the application when you're selecting your space. The page will take you to meal plan, and you must select a meal plan. And traditional buildings, you have two options. One is all access meal plan, and All Access Plus meal plan. All Access meal plan comes with $200 dining dollars on your card, so $100 per term that you can use at other places than dining hall. You will be eating at the dining hall most of the time, but then additional $100 per semester. We call them dining dollars. This is kind of prepaid amount that is on your student card that you could use at not couple, at some other places on campus if you find yourself away from the dining hall during lunch and you just want to grab something at the other place. All Access Plus is the same idea with the dining hall. It's still all you can eat buffet from 7:30 in the morning until 9:30 in the evening, I believe. And you can go as many times as you want, but the dining dollar component is higher. It is $200 per term, so $400 overall.
Thank you. Lots of great questions still coming in here. So another question had to do with the actual bed assignments. So someone was asking, are the bed codes assigned to specific beds? So referring to the -1, -2 that you would have seen.
That's excellent question. So indeed, it looks like that there is a distinction. This is bed 1, this is bed 2, but it's not really like that in the room. When you walk into the room, you just see two beds. There is no numbering to them. It's not like the one to the left is number 1 and the one to the right is number 2. Basically, whoever arrives to the room first gets to choose whichever bed there is. So when you are assigning beds on the portal, it really does not matter if you're assigning yourself to bed 1 or to bed 2. Absolutely zero difference. So you just need to have 2 people and there are 2 beds. That's it. It really makes no difference in terms of actual beds in room.
Another couple questions about the residence buildings themselves. How close are the residence buildings to the academics and the rest of campus?
Our residence precinct is pretty condensed and is located in the same area. So very often students are asking, which building is the closest to my class? Well, all buildings are kind of close to your class because they're all in the same area. You can walk campus from one end to the other in about 15 to 20 minutes. So it's not a huge campus at all. So from your residence building, the furthest from the academics, I'm gonna say Reader House, probably it's gonna be about, I don't know, 10 to 15 minutes to the father's building on campus to study. So it's not far at all. And you can also use tunnels to get there in winter. So we always know who lives in residence because those students show up in pajamas to classes.
Amazing. Can see it too many times with the PJs running around. There's a couple of clarification questions about the roommate groups. If they do only have 3 people in their group, what happens to that 4th spot? So can you re-explain that part?
Yeah. So the 4th spot, so for example, as we're looking still at this page, so room Lennox 116 is no longer here, right? It has been now picked up by me and my friend. And in room 118, only 1 bed is available. So this bed is showing as available to everyone else who is looking for a space to look at. Well, not everyone else, sorry, clarification, because now it is designated as a female because other students in this configuration identify as female. This bed is being shown to students who are looking for a space and also identify as female. So another female student could be looking for a bed and they can look at the show information about the room and they can see. So there are 4 students and they can kind of quickly take a look at their profile to see what's going on. Does it seem, and they may go like, oh, I am in the nursing program too. Maybe this sounds like a good idea for me. And that student will be able to grab that room and assign themselves to this space.
Okay, some clarification about when you can accept your residence offer. Do you have to accept your Carleton offer before accepting residence?
Yes. So in order to log in into the housing portal, you must accept your offer of admission on OUIC about 24 to 48 hours prior to that. So accepting your offer of admission first on a UAC, then it takes about a day for UAC to send your response, your acceptance of the offer to university, and then university passes your record to us into the housing database another 24 hours later. So make sure that you understand that there is a delay. If you accept your offer of admission on 8th of June, you kind of missing the deadline to accept your guaranteed residence because it is going to take a couple of days to for that record to make it into our database.
Thank you. Question about the time tickets. How are they assigned? So is it random, lottery style?
Yeah, it is a lottery style. So all students who will accept the offer by the end of June 8th will be entered in the lottery, and the lottery determines who gets what time ticket. Um, we have to stagger the traffic to the portal. Unfortunately, it can handle only so many records at the same time. That's why the lottery, but you will have an opportunity to go in and to see what's available and select your space when your time ticket opens.
Thank you. And lots of people already getting excited for move-in. So what are the dates of move-in? What are the hours? What does it look like, the whole experience?
Well, this probably the busiest weekend on campus for us, definitely in residence, and very exciting weekend. This year, we're still finalizing some steps and instructions for the move-in for this year. It's a little bit later this year. The move-in most is planned to begin on September 4th and will run through the weekend, so Labor Day weekend. We do have a system with move-in appointments, so we will be sending information about that probably in the next few weeks. After students have selected, obviously, their spaces, you will be able to pick up a time when it is convenient for you to arrive. We do have to do this for many reasons, mostly because of our footprint on campus. As I have mentioned, as much as we're so close to all buildings, we are so close to all other buildings on campus. So we do have to schedule move in so that it is convenient and reasonable for people to be able to come to campus, unload, move stuff into the room, and without creating, too many crowds there. But the move in will be happening the first weekend in September, and just watch out for your email in the Carleton inbox for information about the steps and how to pick your move-in time slot.
Amazing. Lots of questions about fridges. So are fridges in the room? Can they bring their own fridge? How do they rent one? So if you can give some more info on that.
Yeah. So fridges, students can rent mini fridges. We are partnered with the company that provides mini fridges to us. This information will be coming in with the move-in details and instructions. So you will be able to follow the link there and order a fridge for you. It will be brought before you move in. It will be waiting for you in the room. That's what typically happens when students order mini fridges. We do not allow personal fridges to be brought to residents. Again, there are many reasons for that. And renting a fridge is very easy. Very often students in the same room will share the cost of that. but it's I believe between $130 and $150 per year, something around that. I haven't checked their prices this year, but it's not excessive amount, and you can definitely rent your own, or each student can rent their own and have them both in their rooms.
Okay, we have a question about not having a roommate group. So if someone chooses not to create a roommate group, are they still able to select rooms themselves? Is it okay not to have one?
Absolutely. Roommate groups are encouraged because, you have to think about, like, you have to imagine that you will be living in a room with another human being. So that creates a lot of anxiety. And very often we hear that, I wish I knew that person. Well, this is your opportunity to get to know this person a little bit in advance of the move in, and get communicating with this person. This is the roommate group, but you don't have to. It's not mandatory. You can definitely not have a roommate group, and on the day when your time ticket opens, you go into the system and you start looking at spaces available. If there is anyone in the room, you can look at their view profile and see if there's something that might work for you, and you assign yourself to a bed, or you pick a space that does not have anyone else assigned to that space yet, and you put yourself in the bed, and then other people will be looking at your view profile and selecting you as their roommate. There will be a lot of people without roommate groups. It's not a mandatory part. I wanted to show you something though while we are here. It's in the roommate matching questions. So there is something in the roommate matching questions that I wanted to draw your attention to. This little checkbox here, I want my profile answers to be viewable in the roommate matching results. This is very important that you do not uncheck it. If I uncheck it, this means that nobody can find me or view my profile. And this is not great, because obviously you want to make sure that other students are still able to look at what you have presented about yourself, as you will be sharing a room with another student.
Okay, and also some other questions about the roommate groups. Are they able to go ahead and start selecting roommates now, or does that have to wait until a later date?
Absolutely. You should be selecting your roommates now. You should be going into this page, roommate groups, and start looking either at suggested roommates. If you don't know where to start, the system will generate the list of matched students based on the lifestyle questions. Or if another option is to search for roommates by the profiles. So what is this? Is when you go into the lifestyle questions and answer the questions the way you want your roommate to answer them. And then you ask the system to search for people who match that request. And then you can communicate with those students and see if any of those conversations may lead to finding someone that you decide to be roommates with. I think we have about 5 to 7 minutes left, so I just want to kind of say that I know there are probably a lot of questions. If your question is not answered, absolutely make sure to send us an email, residence@carleton.ca. We do respond to all questions. If I did have an ask, I would ask you to send it from your Carleton email account. It makes it very much easier for us to look up the file, to understand the context to the request, perhaps. Please include your student ID number in your email. But we do have a few minutes for a couple more questions, I guess.
Perfect. We're going to ask the last couple here. There seems to be some questions about appliances. So are people allowed to bring in microwaves, crock pots? And maybe while we're talking about this, we can talk about the community kitchen briefly as well.
Yeah. So for the appliances, first of all, microwaves are available in a lounge on each floor in every building. So if you need a microwave, it is available there. I do not recommend bringing microwave into the room because not every building has capacity for multiple devices, and you do not have much space either. Also, you, in addition to just having your device, you would need to store your supplies, and you already have a full meal plan. So just be reasonable there. That said, we do have a community kitchen in Rideau House. It's a space where any students, so not just for students in Rideau House, it is for students in every residence building. You can use the community kitchen to cook a meal if you want, or to have some kind of cooking event, nice dinner with friends, or perhaps baking party or whatnot. So it is a great space to do something outside of your typical routine of going to the dining hall. But in terms of bringing appliances, they have to be small, they have to be automatic shut off, and just be aware of the fact that there is not much space. And, if you have too many devices in there, the fuses will go, and we'll always know which spaces, have devices that perhaps are not suited for our residence buildings.
Amazing. We have a question about the residence agreement. So it looks like when they log into the portal, it says they haven't signed the residence agreement yet. Are they able to sign it now, or do they wait until after they've selected their room?
So you will be signing your residence agreement when you have selected the room. It is a very important document, and we want students to read it at the time when they select the room and make this, take another step in the direction of confirming that they will be staying with us in residence. So it's fine. It's just a note for now to say that you have not signed it. It's normal. You are not expected to have it signed at this time. You will sign it when you select your room, and you will see that that notification will change. And if in July we find that somebody has not signed the residence agreement, or parent or guardian has not signed the residence agreement yet, we will be in touch with the students and kind of advising them that it is time to do so, because it is a requirement. It's like rental agreement. If you were to rent a room or an apartment somewhere, you have to sign the lease. This is a residence agreement, which is a document, legally binding document that confirms that you will be staying in residence.
Okay, I think we have maybe one last question before we close it off here, and it's regarding roommate groups and time tickets. So as we've discussed, the roommate who has the first time ticket can select spaces for everyone in the group. Let's say the roommate who has the earliest time ticket leaves the group before their time ticket's available. Are you able to switch your room before their assigned date comes up?
It doesn't really matter if your roommate, in this situation, if your roommate changes mind and leaves the group, you can then, whoever is the next person with the earliest time available can go and select. If your roommate who had the earliest time ticket has already assigned the entire group to a space, you at this point already have access to the portal. So even though your time ticket may be starting slightly later, if you already assigned to a space, you can still go into the housing portal and perhaps change your selection if that's what you're trying to do.
That's great.
I just want also to say that we will be available at on those days when the time tickets are opening and a lot of students selecting. We will be available through the email and on the phone to answer questions during the work hours, so between 8 and 4. But if you send an email, we will definitely make sure to respond and assist you as much as we can.
Well, thank you, Anna, for putting you on the spot and answering all of our questions. And thank you for everyone for attending today and asking such great questions. We are at time, but I will throw it to Anna to close it off.
Yeah. Thank you very much, everyone. I hope this information is helpful to you and alleviate a little bit of an anxiety about the process. Keep checking your email. More information is coming, and looking forward to the next year and greeting you all on campus in September. Have a good evening.